welcome to the May meeting of the Council on Aging in Easttown. I'd like to welcome you all. Thank you for coming, and I don't think we have anybody online, but we do have some members of...
Do you need one?
We do have some members of the current and future Friends Board here, so welcome. Thank you. I'd like to start by doing a roll call. So Pat, you want to just...
Karen DeBona?
Cheryl Gale.
Beverly Hobbs.
Monica Keefe-Hess.
Dorothy Burrett.
Joan Lockhart.
Linda Reed.
Terry Hendricks.
Paula Bruns.
Richard Trimble.
We have a full house. Thank you. Terrific.
Just
World Flush.
Great. Here, I have an extra.
Wait, Terry, is that for scratch
Great.
money coming?
The first thing on our agenda is to review the minutes and make any corrections or note any corrections or anything. Rich circulated them all ahead. Did you all have a chance to review the agenda, the minutes from last meeting? Mm-hmm. Okay, does somebody want a motion to accept the minutes?
A motion.
Thank you, Pat. Seconded?
Second.
Great, by Cheryl. Thank you very much. Thanks for doing that, Rich. You're doing a great job. Nice and
Hopefully they're not too laborious and
no,
long.
they're actually very good. Perfect
Yeah.
amount of
Yep.
information.
Short
Thank you.
and sweet and
Thank you,
informational.
and I'm sure Monica thanks you as well.
Every day.
Thank you very much. Let's start with Dorothy's Executive Director's Report, and she did send out a packet of information ahead.
I did, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, yes. I'm still, this is sort of still a work in progress. I'm gonna try kind of different things and see what everyone really responds to and kind of what makes the most sense for everyone to kind of go through it. But I did do year to year. We are trending up for programs. Oh, that construction, I hear it.
I thought it was my stomach.
I did too.
So compared to last year for our programs, so I'm going to do it as occurrences. I feel like the duplicated in the individual gets mucky in people's heads. So I'm going to do it as, if I call it occurrences instead of duplicated counts, does that resonate better with people?
Can you define?
So occurrences is the amount of times it happened.
Or events, or occurrence, or would be the same as an event. It's the same thing.
So actually, when
Is
I'm
it-
saying occurrences, I'm actually referring to the amount of
Attendees.
times we did something with someone.
Different programs.
Same.
So, does an occurrence mean a touch, Dorothy? Like-
Yes.
Okay.
Should we say touches? Would touches
That
be
sounds creepy.
better? Creepy, I got it, right? Like,
I agree.
all right, we're going to work on that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sense with everyone. Again, the reason I do it this way is based all on the Executive Office of Elder Affairs report. They call it unduplicated and duplicated counts. So they're counting the individuals as the unduplicated, right?
No.
And then-
No, it's unduplicated.
Yes, and then the duplicated is one person could attend something 6 times and
Yeah.
call us 20 times, like that whole.
Right,
I mean,
right.
well, I won't write touches, but the touches.
So 377 people.
And I just,
Right.
I really like the, maybe because of that's my background.
Yeah, okay.
Duplicated, unduplicated to me is very clear. Do you know what I mean? I came once
Yep,
this month,
yep,
me as you count me once, but I had a great month and I was at the senior center 20 times.
right.
So the 20 is under duplicated and me is under unduplicated.
Exactly.
I think the terminology is fine as long as
Okay.
we understand what the
All right.
terminology is.
Okay, so maybe just to kind of defining it until everybody's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's sticking in my head now,
Yeah,
right?
keep it simple. You're already reporting this to the state already like
Right.
this. Why
Okay.
make another step for yourself?
Perfect.
Linda,
Thank
you have a
Yeah.
question?
I'm trying not to be dumb, but,
No, it's
so
okay.
occurrences are a hit class, a talk, a this, so each one of those is an occurrence,
So
is it activity?
When I'm talking about the number of event occurrences,
Yeah.
so the third line down,
Yeah.
right? That is the actual events, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got it.
versus
Individuals.
individuals.
Got it.
So maybe we'll just keep it
Yeah,
like
no,
this.
that's fine.
Yeah, makes
Just
sense?
needed to-
Okay.
Yeah, it would be like saying you served 100 people 1,000 times.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Exactly, yeah. And then when we're looking at the number of actual
events
events.
that took place, yeah.
Right.
Great,
Okay.
terrific.
All right, so, we are again trending up with our programs, duplicated, year to year, we're up 23%. And then individuals, it was a less than 1% increase, but we're still trending up, so that's good. We had a significant amount of events, occurrences over last year, so it was 305 versus 217. So, as you know, we're doing lots of things, so that's good. And that's just a breakdown of all the events, if anybody has any questions about
Yeah,
that.
334 to 377 is about a 10% increase,
Oh, yeah,
right?
maybe,
I mean,
yeah.
just roughly
missed-
looking at it, I'm
right,
not
right, right,
doing,
right.
you know.
Yeah, you're right.
But
I
it went
missed
up-
a zero.
That's okay, that's all right.
In occurrences, events is year-to-date. That's a year-to-date number, right?
That is month to month. So I'm always looking at it as month to month. So
This May to last May.
April.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm always going to report on the previous month, just because when our meetings fall, we don't have all the
Yeah.
stats for the current month. So I'm always looking at the month prior. Would you guys like a year, like an overall, like, that's what, I can do, like a total year to year?
Sometimes it's just interesting to see how you're on track for the year, too.
Or
Like,
trending.
how are you trending for the year?
Right.
Just not every single number, just the overall trend, because just
Right.
looking at this, there's a.
That's
there's
easy
an
to run.
upward
I
trend.
can do a total for year, like not a breakdown of everything, right? It's
No.
just a total overall glance at everything we're doing. I can run that. Would you like to see that?
I
Year
think
over year?
I think year-to-date is interesting, right?
Yeah, where are we going?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, from January to May, how did we trend? Do we have a slow month? And just knowing why.
Yeah, that's
So
kind
I
of,
don't
that
think we
helps
need
with.
last year.
You wouldn't do it the same as your budget year? Because that's
Well,
that's
wait,
what
yeah,
her
okay.
funding source does.
Okay, budget year is
It's
fine.
okay.
Budget year is fine.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to reduce her doing
Sure.
more than too many
Yes.
reports. And so if the
Right.
state requires
Fine.
July to June, why
Yeah.
don't we do
Yeah,
July
yeah,
to June?
I just think calendar year, but you're right, it should be the town's fiscal year.
Yeah,
Should
makes
be.
sense.
So you want to run last year, compare 2020 previous fiscal year to current fiscal year?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be our year-to-date, right? But comparing as opposed to where we're trending, or do you prefer trending?
Well, trending is kind of obvious, right?
Yeah.
So,
So year over year? Year over
Yeah,
year?
year over year is
Yeah?
good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I really, there's no point in doing these reports if it's not meaning anything to you guys, right? So it's okay to tell me, this is what you make sense to you and is gonna be most of value, then let's do it.
Yep,
Kind of looks like you're doing more work.
lots more programs going on, yep.
Right.
I find it amazing that you had 305 programs in a month. I mean, I know you do, but you, kudos.
Those are repeats,
But
though,
still.
you know what I
but-
mean?
But
Like,
you're doing,
yeah, yeah.
that
In a month?
center is, yeah.
I thought that was year to date.
No, it's a month.
That's May to May, April to April.
Yeah, we really
No.
are, you guys. I looked
Yeah,
at.
no, in the month of April, she had 305, Wendy taught 5 classes, and Jim taught 4 classes, and she add all those up. That is in a month. She had 305 different things that went on
So
in
we're
our
doing an
senior
average
center.
of 75 activities a week.
Yeah.
So it's amounts, though. It's not, it's the same thing. It's duplicated, right? So
No,
like,
no, no, I
It's amazing.
understand.
Yeah, but still, it's
But in
still,
a week,
It is.
Yeah. and
there's
I'll say
75 classes going on.
I looked at one of our local
This
COAs.
can't be quite right.
What's that?
Yeah,
You're talking about May
Occurrences.
to May, over the course of the year, how many classes, how many distinct programs?
No.
This is the month.
No,
is
that's
just
for
for the
one month.
These are all one.
If you look at the
I will
calendar.
run it for you.
Yeah,
shocker.
Yeah.
I will run it for you.
I believe you.
Because it's the amount, it's not, we don't have 305 individual programs.
No, I
Right, right,
understand.
right, these are the
Right.
unduplicated.
Wendy teaches 5.
Yeah,
But
you have
when
about
you
four.
teach
teaches
us
four.
5, we had
These
the
are
computer
duplicated.
basics,
These are duplicated.
there's all these different things.
Gotta get
but that's saying
so
we have
confused.
15 offerings a day roughly.
Yes.
Um,
How many?
and you're taking them.
Yes.
Are we?
A
I just have
day?
to write things.
Wow.
It can be,
Yeah, because people in the library may be making memories, and somebody
No, I
downstairs has been
get
doing,
that.
it's
I
crazy,
get
it's
that.
amazing.
I get that, but if we're open, say, 20 days a month, 4 weeks times 5 days, 20 days, and we're doing 300 programs, I would be hard pressed to say we're doing 15 a day, even with all the repeated classes. Yeah.
Wait, but these occurrences include touches. That's what you had said before.
No, she's saying there were
I'm gonna
events.
run it, I'm gonna pull it up right now, let's look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Seaside Cafe is there, and that's 5 days a week.
It sounds like we're moving.
They have coffee 5 mornings a week, so that
Self-spreadsheet.
counts for 5.
That's
It's
what
not
it
every
seems
day,
like.
is it?
It's 4 or 5 days a week.
No.
Like we're moonwalking backwards.
Those add up.
Now, we're doing a lot, but let's pull it up, and I will read through exactly, what this says, if the Wi-Fi is gonna work, but we can continue on.
Yeah, let's
keep
come,
going.
yes, I agree
Um,
with you, Dorothy.
Yeah, we'll keep
Yeah,
going.
I think-
So transportation,
But that's in a different place, right? Or was that included?
no. This is all broken down by category.
Right, so we're just looking at program stats here when you
I was
say
just
there were
looking at program.
305 programs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Statistics.
Okay.
Events,
all right.
statistics.
Well, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
As again, I don't want to get hung up on that now.
Sure, sure.
But it looks like the transportation is up
Yep.
significantly, right?
We're up, yep. Same thing with social trips. We added Market Basket and Trader Joe's. Just for now, I don't think we're gonna be able to swing it during July and August, unfortunately. I think it's just gonna get too crazy.
It'll take too many hours.
Yeah, it'll take too much,
Traffic just getting
right.
there.
And,
Morning was bad.
yeah, we are also training
The amount of individuals.
one of our new hybrid folks. I shared with you, we hired, I can't remember where we were last month,
I
but
don't-
we have officially hired 1.5, I'll call them 1.5 hybrid program folks. So one woman, she's 19 hours, her name is Harriet Emerson, she's tremendous. She's got a background with local area agencies like our Elder Services from California. So she's got a great administrative background in programs and so on and so forth, grant administration. And then John has a IT background. So he's gonna work, he's like part-time on call, 12 to 15 hours, so he's gonna support kind of what we have going on. The only unfortunate thing is they have the same hours. So it's really hard to find people, so I'm making this work for everyone. They are definitely both open to, maybe a Saturday program sometime in the fall. They're very flexible. We're being flexible with all of this as well. We just want to make it work. I think it's the perfect match between the two of them.
Is this the 19-hour position that you were?
This is through the grant.
Oh, this is for the grant.
This is through the grant,
Right.
right. But I am going to train John on, he's going to get trained to drive our vehicles. So we're thinking to possibly take the hybrid show on the road, and I don't know what that looks like yet, but we talked about maybe having a camera and having people tune in, like if they go to the beach. Some different ideas, but he'll also be trained to drive our vehicles, which will be an extra support too. Let's see, food, we're going up, we're still doing Family Table Collaborative, mustard seed, so on and so forth. The mobile food pantry, the brown bags. It's kind of amazing. Mobile's 567 bags year to date, which is kind of incredible. They do a lot, and that's the one where you actually order, so you're getting multiple bags. Fitness, of course, we're up.
Question about fitness isn't under programs. Those are two separate set of statistics.
No, you haven't
So
duplicated.
if
You have
I'm
them up
counted as going to a HIT class,
It
that's
would-
not being counted as a program.
Yeah, it's in
number.
there.
It
both
should be in
places.
there. It is in both
It is in
places.
both,
Yeah,
okay.
but I think fitness is a big one, because that's what we pay a lot for from
Just
the Friends.
clarify.
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay, so fitness is a subset of programs.
Yes.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So, let's see. And then,
Oh, just,
yeah,
it's just because you use a boilerplate. you want to do, I think, under fitness, that's duplicated with unduplicated 147. I don't think you have 694 separate individuals coming to your fitness class.
Over the
Oh,
month?
yes, yep.
I think you just
100%.
gotta-
Yeah, I did.
I think it's like, I would use a boilerplate all the time too, and
Yeah,
so
yep.
you just need to switch those
Yeah.
words.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the 694 and the 147 are flipped.
And the
Yeah.
same,
Yeah.
the rest of the way, she just needs to
Yeah,
flip those words under fitness.
I see. Okay. That's a good eye.
She used to
I'm
do
an
this
old
for a living.
bureaucrat, I'm sorry. This used to be my life.
Great. Okay.
She was giving you condolences.
Say what?
She was giving you condolences.
I know.
Okay, so we just need to,
all right, so I just pulled this up. This program, right? So you can actually sort it in our database and you can choose event occurrences. So number of events, this also includes Cindy, community education, cultural events, fitness, exercise, food, general information, grocery shopping, health benefits, health education, health screenings, information sharing, intergenerational events,
Okay.
food, professional services, as well as recreational and social events, and technology.
So
it's
Cindy's
actually-
meetings with people are counted in here?
Yep.
As a
Which is
current.
kind of a strange thing.
Because that's like individual casework.
Right. So
Like you
that's
have-
kind
It's
of
not really a
weird one.
program
It's
open to
not.
everybody.
It's a
Yeah.
service.
You in the bottom of the list, you have 5 Shine clients. Are those Cindy, or is that's the other people?
That's the other
The other
people.
volunteers, yeah.
So that's kind of categorized strange.
so
I agree
let's
with
take
you.
this offline.
Yeah.
And maybe you and Dorothy could just,
I don't want to be a pain in the neck.
no, but I
yes,
think,
you
No,
do.
but let's,
well,
I'm available if you want another set of eyes.
But I think you have a good insight into this, though.
that's the only reason I suggested it.
Yeah.
But because I think we're double counting some, I mean, we have them listed under food security, but then you're saying that that's really part of
Yeah.
program stats. I mean, I just know we don't have 15 programs a week running in there, because, on
And
a
we're
given
doing a
day.
lot more than we used to. so
Oh, yeah.
we don't want to lose
Yeah.
sight of that.
Yeah, no, we are.
I also think, like, a couple of the things you said, Dorothy, like
Yeah.
information sharing, what would that be?
oh, just people coming in, like, for general information.
Right, so that, I think, almost deserves a separate category, the phone ringing, the people coming in, the.
The
because
touches.
It kind of portrays the needs on the staff. And
I agree
if
with
ever
you.
going forward, you want to be able to talk about how much more of a sort of processing center you are, that's important to keep that separate from programming, in my opinion.
I think the reality, though, is how do you keep track of how many phone calls does
That's-
Monica field in a
Well,
day?
I thought they were being kept track
I
of
don't-
and included
I
in
don't-
here, no?
I think-
Information sharing.
We can keep track of it. Sometimes,
You
you
don't catch them all.
don't
We
catch
don't.
them all.
Well,
Just
never-
like you
don't
don't,
catch everybody
you
in an
don't catch
exercise
everyone
class
coming
either.
in
Yeah.
either. If they're coming in asking questions, looking for information.
Right,
Um,
right.
We try to get them to check in at the kiosk, but,
Yeah, good luck.
yeah, that's a job in itself. It's like
Yeah.
making sure everybody does that, but
It
we
is.
try. We
But
try to
I'm just
have-
saying, anything you captured for this 305 number some of those things might do better in its own category of just,
Right, yeah, it's just trying to look through that database
I
that
don't know
was
how
set
you
up.
would, I'm just.
So,
Well, it was set up so long ago, but some of these categories are really
yeah, so, I mean, I'm,
subjective to where it belongs and then, the duplicate counts. But I just did just pulled the actual events from this, and it's about 175.
That makes sense.
That makes more sense.
So, but, yeah, so I took out, food and general, any of those kind of different categories I took out.
so I think it is great to see.
Anyway, we're still doing a lot.
These
Right.
numbers come from the kiosk?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm just running the stats right from there.
Okay, so that's the counter.
This is
Yeah.
this is the My Senior Center
Right,
stuff?
But yeah, some of those are really, so maybe we can just.
You let me know.
Sit down and.
Give me a buzz.
Because I think it would also be interesting to see how many touches Cindy's getting as well. You know, we're kind of missing that half of our, I mean, we see the programs, and they're definitely, I mean, double, tripled, then it's a lot. I mean, we're buzzing in
It
there.
is, yeah, it is a lot.
But then the other part that I think is interesting to all of us, and it's a big part of our charter, is how many people are we touching with, you know, counseling services, referrals, you know, hooking them up with fuel programs. That's a lot of what we provide, and we don't have any visibility into that today. And as we advocate for staff or for resources, that's, I think, just as important to know as programs.
Does Cindy currently track any of that?
Yeah, we do have stats on like fuel assistance and,
But I see people walk in the door and just go to Cindy's office, and they don't go to the kiosk. So,
in my head, she's logging them
Yeah.
in, and she's got an appointment, you know.
And there is a
They
degree
should
of
still
of
log in, but
confidentiality we need
sometime-
to ensure people
Well,
that
that's
if I come in
sometimes-
and I need to talk to Cindy, that's really different than if I'm coming to an exercise class. I may not want
Right.
the world to know that I need Cindy's assistance. So we gotta,
But she keeps a record of
no, I
conversations.
think Cindy needs
yeah.
to track it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not to expect
Right, so you would
Time
be,
to check
my senior center to track all of the work that we do.
you'd be an event without a name.
yeah.
I think Cindy,
Burke?
well, let's
Yeah,
talk,
she-
I don't,
Yeah,
there's
she
ways.
does have her people, and she's got notes, and, you know, there is
Okay.
some information in there, which gets tricky too, because we have to keep it confidential, and so we have to
Obviously, yeah.
be very careful.
What I think would be so interesting, and it's not a project for now, is I feel like we're really, not good, post-COVID. And I think it'd be so interesting to see what May, the year before, the May before COVID, to this May, just to, I mean, that's the growth. I mean, that's.
2020?
19.
2019.
Well, it'd be fiscal
it's
20.
Before it happened,
Fiscal.
I
Yeah,
swear.
if you were calculating stats the same way at that time, I just think it'd be so interesting to see.
2020, we were in the middle of,
Yeah, how we've
Right.
grown, right?
How-
Because that would
what's-
be a good,
How May looks different now than
Right.
it does from.
very different.
Well,
yeah.
that's a
I
good
can't-
point, because at our district meeting for tax aid, you know, we celebrated 12% year-over-year growth in the number of returns we prepared. Then somebody came back and says, how many did we do in 2019? And we're back basically to 2019.
Okay, that probably is.
So,
I just think it'd be interesting.
We're way above, I know.
Yeah.
We feel it.
Well,
Monica and I are like,
but see, on
We're
top
way
of that, the program number has grown. People, of course, come back, you know, pre-COVID, so, but you've increased your service level.
we've increased the service level, we've
More
increased
people.
the number of clientele coming in our door, everything
Yeah,
has been
everything.
Right,
increased.
the
for
diversity
sure.
of courses and the
Yeah.
age range that we've expanded to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that's increased.
Yeah, but that's a good, yeah.
Significantly.
I think COVID changed the community. There were people like myself who retired in 19, I didn't know COVID was coming, but so it brought more people into the community that ended up coming and living here full-time and working,
Right.
but are still of the age
Oh,
group
there's a
that we
huge,
serve.
huge, huge
So it
change.
changed the
Demographics, yep.
whole
I think right after
population of the.
Everything
COVID,
changed.
They reported over 800 new year-round residents, which
yep.
is huge for us, you know, in our
I think
town, so.
people became more aware of us during it too, because we
Right.
were the place that they were coming to get help with
Vaccination.
vaccines.
Yeah.
So we were, yeah, we were
Test kits.
tasked with that, and then
Yeah.
That's a good point, because.
People tell
that-
people
That may
and-
have helped increase. And the other thing that happened after 2019 is we had the UMass survey. And we
Right.
started implementing certain of the elements of the UMass survey to increase senior center participation. So all of this plays a role.
Yeah, it is true. But I think the vaccines really gave us a whole nother,
Yeah.
people, you know, in the industry, people always say like, the goal is to know us before you need us, right? But in this case, things were reversed, right?
Right.
So suddenly, there was a need, and they were sent to,
Confounding variables.
surprise for us, they were sent to us.
Yeah. Well, people still remember that. They'll
They
say,
do.
I remember you helped me.
Right, which
during
resonates
COVID.
with them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And, yeah, creates this this place for people, for us in their lives, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of.
And then your cute little pie charts, I didn't understand what they said. Sorry, they didn't make sense. You either had to have two side by
Getting
side.
a little fancy. I'm gonna get better at this. This is my goal, my
You either
personal
have to have
goal.
two side by side if you're comparing 2 years, but you had different categories.
I just did up, just trending up, the percentage that we trended up. That's all it is.
I don't
So,
even see how you see
so
that.
duplicated, so that was my goal, is to say that we were up compared, the duplicated counts compared to last year, we're up 37% year over year, month to month. Let's just forget the pie chart.
Yeah, let's forget them because they really, I'm not
But
sure.
that was where I
A
was
nice
going with
attempt.
it, was
I was very,
was percent up compared to last month, last year.
right.
That's what it was. So
I think
Anyway.
part of the
I'm
problem
a
is
bar
they're not in
graph kind of
color.
girl.
Well,
I was just saying that.
If they were in color, it would, for me, that would have helped.
This is
That
a
was my
comparison
bad.
of year
I
to year,
printed
from
it and-
24 to
It's-
23, it needs to be two charts.
It's not, it's
Or a bar
duplicated
chart.
counts. So this is strictly duplicated, just as it appears in the report. So individuals served,
So is this the
duplicated-
increase in?
this is the increase.
Increase, okay,
Yeah.
then it needs to say that, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the increase.
all right.
And then, is it in the, is it listed in the largest percentage down?
It-
Or,
So each
that was
category,
programs, 44%, med
No,
rights,
you would know if
37.
you had the color, because
Well,
that would match.
I'm just trying to,
Oh.
I'm trying to get past.
They also can be
go to the
printed
next
out in crosshatches.
I'm just
but
trying to
let's-
help us.
Okay, I don't think this,
Yeah, we can just move on.
oh, that's okay. We'll just move on. But it was, it was supposed to be colorful.
Oh, look at that.
It's much better in
It's
color.
exactly, so individuals served month to month, and it was an increase of 44%. Duplicated counts, it was an increase of
Yeah.
X amount. So
Very
it's
nice.
just taking that and
Yeah.
putting it in there.
Yeah.
okay, okay. But anyway, thank you for attempting to give us
Yes,
a chart.
yes.
Because we asked for that, so thank you.
Yes.
You answered. So, what else do you have on besides the monthly?
I think that's it. I think yesterday was great. Thank you all who were able to attend. I would love your help, though.
I don't know.
Everyone here, over there, too, getting more pictures of all our volunteers. I felt like I didn't do a full representation of all our volunteers, like all of you guys here. You know, we're not really taking pictures at a board meeting, you know? But maybe we could even just have a picture of our board and our friends' board that we could incorporate. Maybe a picture of the thrift shop team, you know, all these different things that I just felt like I was missing. And I don't know, I like to.
It was still good.
Thank you.
And-
I like to
and-
represent everyone. So if
Yeah.
you guys, just the next year,
Yep,
if
I-
you can
I
think
took
of
some,
it,
yeah.
that would be great.
Okay.
And
Well-
just email them to me and I'll start putting them in folders. So next year when I'm doing this, I have them.
Many years ago, in high school and college, I was a staff photographer.
Oh,
So I could walk
You're
around.
volunteering, huh?
I could walk around and take candids if you want.
that would be great. I would love that, really, because I
Haven't
think,
done it in a while, but I think I can. do
for
it.
me,
I'm
that's,
surprised.
the picture's worth 1,000 words,
I thought
right?
you were
Not
gonna-
to be too cliche, but I really think it resonates with people.
It
And they
was.
love, you know, everybody
too.
loves it, right? You
good.
love to see your friends and your volunteers.
And most people didn't realize they were old photos, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good.
I'm not very good at taking a picture of a bunch of stiffs all lined up. I'm more kind of like freelancing and just,
Okay.
Yeah, I would
great.
love that. If you
Great.
can be a resident photographer, I would love it. And I would
Perfect.
still like a picture of both of our current or
Good idea.
incoming
posed
boards.
photographs.
Great idea.
Yeah.
I don't do
Okay.
that.
How was the attendance versus last year? Seemed like there was fewer
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, no, I think we average about the same, more or less. It was probably 5 or 6 that, like, last minute weren't able to attend. But fairly the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
fairly
think
the
as a
same.
whole, sometimes it's really hard to get volunteers to come out to accept recognition. You know, it's just like, oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, I love it.
That's because you volunteer for everything.
As a whole, a lot of volunteers just feel that way, like.
Well, I was gonna say the food.
Yeah.
And get served.
So,
I used to date for
So
free
thank
food,
you
but
all
can't
for
do it.
coming.
So one observation I had on that, and we talked briefly
Yeah.
yesterday, is maybe doing the Friends meeting on a different day
Yes,
than
yeah,
the luncheon.
we were
Because,
talking about
you
that.
know, we ended up with dead time and stuff, and I think that's enough. Each event could be separate, and so I would recommend that for the future.
Yeah,
as a
we did
suggestion.
build that in for, we
Great.
built that in for the budget for this
Terrific.
year too, so we can, it can be a nice event, you know, it can definitely be a nice
It
event.
was lovely.
Monica suggested, you know, her Cape Cod Children's Place used to do something really nice and schmancy for
the
their
annual
annual meeting, so to be discussed
Food
with
and
everybody,
drinks and.
like drinks.
What?
Not at the COA, but like drinks, like. I don't know, do you,
That's in
you
your
know-
backyard.
But the Elks is always generous, you know, but just some things to think about, right? We can make it whatever we want. We don't have to keep repeating the same thing every year, right? That's one of the
Glad
big
I
lessons I learned after COVID too, you
Glad I
know, so.
re-upped.
Well,
Absolutely. We're
In
we're
your
there.
hands, in your hands for next
Alcohol,
year.
separate meeting, we got it.
Not
But
suggesting
don't
that, for
exceed
sure.
the annual membership fee of $10 a person.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a lovely event, really nice.
It was
Thank you,
lovely.
guys.
It was very nice.
Okay, great. So Executive Director's report, I don't have a whole lot to report. I have a couple things. I believe most everyone has re-upped for another term, is that correct? Yep, okay. At the next meeting, I think we should hold officer elections. I would love to not be president anymore. I've done it for 5 years. And so if someone else would like to step up, but, you know, we need to talk about our slate of officers next year. And so let's, at our next meeting, let's do that.
Is that going to be an annual meeting?
What?
Is that an annual meeting?
Well, Cheryl and I were talking, other committees we've been on do an annual, and by view too, some of the other town committees, they have an annual election. We haven't done that. I mean, we didn't have anything other than, until Cheryl joined, a vice chair, and then you stepped up for secretary, so, so I
So
think
that
we
would be in
should,
June?
at our June meeting, I think we should do that.
Yeah, and that makes
Formalize.
sense, because it's
Is
the
it
end of the
next month?
fiscal, so.
Yep.
It
That's
is.
June.
And then we're going on vacation for the
This is
summer.
May.
Other committees I've been on, is you do the election in June and it becomes effective in July.
Right, because it's a
Perfect.
new fiscal year.
Perfect.
Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
well, the June election will be the end of the month in June, so, right,
Right.
great.
And
Correct.
meetings in the summer?
No.
So
Well,
this-
that is a topic.
Yeah.
I'd like
Oh, sorry.
to, that's okay, that's one of the things I want to address. So, last year, we met all through the summer, we were working busily on the strategic plan, there were lots of things going on.
Yeah.
It's a busy time for people. I would personally like to take the summer off from our meetings, but I'm open to hearing what other people have to say.
Historically, July and August, our board didn't meet. And I think we decided last year, because of all
So
that was
much.
happening,
Yeah.
to go ahead and meet due to that, so.
Weigh in, what do you think?
Who wants to vote?
Well, no, is there any,
Call the question.
you know, legislative reason or bylaw reason?
As long as we
That you have
meet,
to have a certain number
10
of
times.
meetings?
we do, but we meet 10 times
Yeah.
the rest
Well,
of
We
the
also
year.
combine sometimes November, December, but we'd have to have separate meetings in November and December.
Yeah.
We just have to change the date. In some years, we combine them, but,
I wouldn't mind taking the
Nine,
summer
it
off.
might be nine.
I don't think we have any
I think
major
it's 10,
issues
10.
that
No.
we're working on.
yeah,
that
I
would
think we should
require it.
give you a break this summer and let you
I was
go
going to
do
say,
your work.
Dorothy, is there any reason you
I
need
had-
this group to meet?
I don't feel like that. I really want to focus on our new folks for the hybrid programming,
Yeah.
and I want to get that transportation policy done. So those are the things that
Yeah.
I'm kind of
You have a lot.
looking at. There's a lot
You
going
wanted
on.
us to meet with the Howe people at some point?
Yeah, that was the, I just haven't, I
No,
might
no,
just
no,
connect.
I'm not nagging, I'm just thinking that's, but we
who
don't need
was-
to meet here to do that.
No. Now, who was on board? It was Joan, Linda, who else was doing the transportation to meet with Helping Our Women?
Oh.
And
Bev.
Bev. So what I think I'm gonna do is just set, I just don't have
Set
time
it
to
up.
coordinate. Like, let's just connect you guys. You can talk with them, about, you know, getting together, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yep.
Do we have the ability to vote by email? if anything comes up?
No.
Or do
I
we
don't
have
think
to
so.
do
It has
for-
to be a
Yeah,
public
public
meeting.
meeting.
If something should come up, I will reach out to whoever the chair is. If it's Joan, I'll reach out to Joan. And we can call a special meeting. As
Okay.
long as we post it, it's not a problem.
Or-
I
or
don't
ahead of time.
anticipate having to do that, but if something does come up,
Or if you needed committees to meet during the summer for some specific reason, I
Yeah.
don't see an issue with that.
what I will do is, I'd like to get that transportation policy going. So what I would do is probably email it to the chair if that was completed sometime over the summer, for people to kind of peruse and
Right.
add suggestions, and
I mean,
that
I
would
would
kind of
certainly
be
be
it.
available to help with any committee work, but I
Yeah.
think in terms of having a full meeting, we can probably
I
go
agree.
with that one in July and August.
Yeah.
So would like someone motion?
yes.
You have to motion, please?
I make a motion
I make
that
the
we
motion.
have the 2 months
Well,
off
this
in the
is going to be
summer,
really unpopular.
Second,
July and August.
second, 12.
No, I'm fine about it if the committees agreed to keep working over the summer, because Dorothy needs our support. We want to give her the feedback, and if we want to keep moving forward, the committees need to keep doing that with Dorothy, that we just don't walk away for 2 months. I know that may not be popular, but
No, I agree with you. I think all of us are doing things that we should be ready to talk about in September.
right.
So, no formal meetings in July and August, but we'll continue to work on committees and be available to Dorothy as you need us.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
So Rich motioned, and seconded by Carol?
Carol made the
Vice
motion, I
versa.
seconded it.
Okay, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Who wants to meet for coffee on the fourth Thursday of the month?
Now that your calendar's open.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's
Um,
get together.
And that's really what I had right now, so. Paula?
We do it at 10.
I don't know if you printed out. Just want to say that the health fair, I thought, was a really amazing day at the center. The people who came, it was so much information. I mean, I was walking around with my little bag, and while I'm aware that probably over half of the people come for the free pens and magnets,
A little bag, what was in the little
If
bag?
it's free, it's free.
information that I like.
Oh, I see. I thought
So-
it was like your stethoscope.
I thought it was a really great thing. I told Cindy I'm happy to help her with it next year. I think you've outgrown your space for it, without question. I did notice, however, that Orleans and Wellfleet, all in the same span of time, are doing the same thing. Kind of wondering whether regionalizing it might be a possibility, or, I don't know. I just think bringing these vendors out each time, maybe you're not getting the full complement. I don't know. So anyway, I had started meeting with some various people in the community anyway, discharge planners at the hospital, just gathering kind of information, because I think it's time for us to consolidate the information that's going out, verify the information that's going out, have kind of a clearer policy about what we're doing. You know, how are we, I learned amazing things about different opportunities for people looking for a rehab bed, private pay, Medicare, Medicaid. A lot of different things are out in the community. I want to be sure that the information that the council is sharing is correct and up to date, and also maybe bringing a lot of these people in to do some programming. And that's what I will be working on through the summer. I have a couple of more appointments with different facilities.
Think hybrid, Paula, because what you're saying about inclusivity with all the councils on aging.
Oh, that was for the health fair. yeah.
Right, but could we bring these people to us and, you know,
For
I know
programming.
Wellfleet has a smart screen, right? And think in that bigger way.
Right, absolutely.
So when you're kind of thinking about this.
But I'm thinking more about the things that we physically give people to read, or we put it in our newsletter, the calls that you guys get.
Right.
You know, my mother is this, or my spouse is that. How do we pass on information? What information are we passing along? I was pretty impressed with the people who came, what they have to offer and their willingness to partner with us for just about anything. So,
Well,
that's-
if we could get a synopsis of all that,
that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, because I have no idea what went on and who attended and who ran it, Cindy?
Cindy did.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's been doing it for
Years.
And
over a
it's
decade, I
and
would
it's
say,
a
at least.
huge undertaking, and I think I also observed that that's another really great opportunity for volunteers who just like to come and do an event. Anything from picking up the food to traffic. It was intense, because people came to visit all the vendors, but they knew there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. There was lunch, so they weren't leaving.
Right.
And the other
People
people,
couldn't come in, yeah.
the other people who were coming in, and the raffles said you had to be present. So they were putting down stakes, and I think it was such a great crowd. I don't know how many people came. I was impressed with how many people, with just a teeny prompt, were using the check-in. We lost a couple on the way, but that was impressive, that
I like your idea of a synopsis, and with your background, would you be able to come up with a list of that information that you think is most valuable? Does that make sense?
yes,
Yeah.
that's
You can
kind of
work
what
on.
I'm working
Okay,
toward in meeting with
perfect.
a discharge planner.
Yeah,
And we could, your synopsis, I could see as being as part of the newsletter.
Exactly.
I'm almost even thinking to add to the food security. Right?
Well, it comes up.
Services and
Yeah.
kind of like a whole
Yeah, because,
separate piece.
we get a lot of those questions at the food pantry, right?
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
clients who come in who are, maybe need some help, and they don't know, like, what's available necessarily. They don't even know who to reach out to always, and we refer them to the senior center, but we don't know all the offerings. And then there's the Navigator program, and Lower Cape Outreach has people, and you have people, and there's all these agencies out there. How do we kind of get those resources in some handbook or
In a form that is,
user-friendly?
well, user-friendly and consistent, just what, I was speaking to the nurse navigator, and I'm actually going to talk more with her this summer, just like, how do we make sure everybody's getting good, clean information, and then how do we present it
Right.
to the public, that people understand, why shouldn't you take a caregiver's name off of Facebook and
Right.
invite them into your home? Like, how do we help educate people about, without scaring people, but also giving them good information, and that's very informative about how we keep seniors safe at home. What other programs can we also offer to keep seniors safe at home?
I mean, if we refer people, do we have a process? I don't know yet, but of
Yeah.
Cory checking and of getting references and knowing before we make a referral?
We do,
Or, how do we do that? Because
Everybody
on
does
the
know Cory.
other side of that, we have people at the pantry who are home health care aides looking for work, and they don't really know what the process is. So I think there is an opportunity for us to provide better information out there.
And putting it in a form that's easier on you guys as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, right.
because, sometimes it can take a half hour to 45 minutes to have a phone conversation with somebody.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Depends on
So-
who's on the
So
other
just
one.
having that sort of information at your fingertips and at the community's fingertips, I think is really going to help, and it's a lot.
There is a
And
lot
I
of
don't ever want to promote a business, but I do want to say there's a lot of businesses out there offering very unique and nuanced things that most people, when they're in a crisis, aren't going to spend the time doing the research.
But it is resources. It's a resource
resources.
guide. We just caveat it that we're not endorsing
Yeah.
Right,
any of
right.
these
Exactly.
I mean,
vendors,
if-
and that it's strictly a resource guide
I
provided.
would suggest there are existing resource guides, and
Yes.
so like going to Howe or Outer Cape Health, the Navigator,
Yeah.
to see what's already in place, so we don't have to reinvent the whole wheel. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it is,
There's-
There's
there's
a
been
lot.
so many resource guides made over the years, it takes so much work. And so if there's good
Right.
current ones that we can,
Consolidate or,
Last meeting, I handed out a
That was-
resource
yeah,
guide.
that's right.
That was a good one. And I think too, maybe getting, instead of trying to do it all, figuring out the ones that help keep people safe at home as a start, and then continue to increase our categories to
Right.
what, I mean, I did a ton of research last year on behalf of a family member, and I'm pretty good at it. And I had no idea a resource that was available just in Orleans that would have solved all of our problems,
Wow.
all of our problems, for a price, but
Right.
I didn't even know it existed. So, just sort of starting there and thinking, hold on, maybe there is something else we can do. So I sort of like taking it from the idea of keeping people at home, because that seems to be a big goal, and safe, which keeps them home.
Right.
And unless people think there's other,
So we could, we could do it as like free services and paid services, so people can distinguish, because there are people that can't afford to pay for something, right?
absolutely.
And there are
Or
that
free
can,
and
but they should
Medicare
know about
covered,
both,
right.
right? So if we
Right.
kind of categorized it in that way, then people would at least know,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we can explore this, or if there's funding opportunities, kind of mentioning that as well. But I think that would be great,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, in our strategic plan, outreach
Right.
is number one on the list, right? And that service, we're very aware of the programs, but that's still a mystery, a behind-the-wall kind of thing for a lot of us. And I think Cindy, she does each one uniquely,
Yeah,
but if Cindy isn't there,
right.
who else could provide that information? So it's a lot, it could help us with, Monica could send
Right,
out a
mitigating
packet,
some of that. Yeah,
or
right.
whatever, so that
Right.
people weren't waiting to get to Cindy, or,
Right.
Or put it on the website.
yeah, yeah.
That's-
Well, I kind of wish I went to the health fair as a board member. As an individual, I'm like, I don't need that, so why would I go to that?
Yeah.
But that's not the point. I probably should have gone just from my background, in
agree.
being in medicine, seeing what's off, and I didn't even think of that, and I'm sorry, I should have.
It was an impressive array of people, I have
And
to say.
Cheryl
from-
said the same,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, I mean, I'm grateful that it was open enough, because we had 2 town committees there.
Right.
Recycling and climate action.
Oh.
And we had a chance to chat with people.
Right.
I mean, we didn't have all the fancy giveaways, so sometimes they kind of
What do you
walked
got?
by. But we had candy, so we thought
got
that
a
might
few.
I
help.
would have stopped if
Yeah, I
I was
would've stopped.
But it was good, and just, honest,
I think it would be
a
helpful.
huge amount of people are using the composting at this dump, transfer station.
Transfer station.
I think it would be helpful if a board member, could, based on your background, look at what we've got going on and, kind of conquer and divide, maybe, once a month, each of you take something, because then you can really get a feel for it and add your input and, support us in that way too, so.
I wash dishes.
You do, that is amazing.
You have documentation of that also.
Yes, it's
Several
documented.
times it was documented.
Monica, you were there. Was it your feeling that these were regulars, or you were seeing people you didn't see often?
A little bit of both. There
Yeah.
were some regulars, but there are some people that come, that's what they
That's
come for.
Their thing, yeah.
Yep.
It was a great array of
Yeah.
people.
So I look forward to the synopsis, because I was lazy and didn't go.
You
Well,
missed
I'm not doing
the-
a synopsis of the health fair.
Oh, you're
I'm
not?
going to do a synopsis of the research that I do
Okay.
from the resources.
So who-
'Cause
who-
some of the stuff from the health fair,
So who
they
who
was
can, who can
selling.
give us a synopsis of the health fair?
a list of vendors. you
Cindy,
mean?
right?
Well,
Who was there?
an overall gestalt, something that we could even put in the newsletter.
How many came?
How many came, what was
Who
offered?
were the vendors, yeah.
I would think between Monica and
could-
Cindy,
Cindy
they
probably
should be
Put
able
something
to.
together,
They
yeah.
ran it, all right.
I would like that. Not necessarily in the newsletter, but something I could look at.
Well, also, you might be interested. I offered to help Cindy next year, maybe.
Well, I could, yeah, I would. I'm embarrassed that I didn't go, I should have gone.
You were duly noted absent.
In fact, a lot of people were
AWOL.
asking, yeah.
Yeah, where's Dr. Trimble?
Ask
All
me.
right. Okay. Linda, any new things going on with volunteers?
No, we've got one new volunteer that I've hooked up with Dorothy.
I owe him a phone call
Okay,
still, yeah.
and then Paula had sent me some information about 3 volunteers that wanted to volunteer at the thrift shop, and I sort of
Pat has
passed it back to her to
Yeah.
give to you guys. 'cause
Pat has
You're going to coordinate your own volunteers.
You have those.
And there's no point in me getting in the middle of it.
I gave them to Jane.
The handoff.
Yeah, that's it.
So the health fair, I mean, I know Paula mentioned that Cindy had to run out for sandwiches, and well, you guys were really overwhelmed at the, is that true? It was pretty busy. Is it a place you could have used volunteers more?
Yeah, and fortunately, we did have a couple of good ones that
Okay.
we had, you
Yeah,
know,
Eileen,
Linda and Eileen.
Okay,
Eileen was a
good.
big help.
Oh, good.
But yeah, some managing
Okay.
the traffic, planning for that, like even, had we known, we could have even had like parking somewhere else and a shuttle.
Shuttle.
Right,
You know?
right.
Something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, so I guess the point is speak up. You know, if you have an event where, you know, we might not think you would need volunteers, just ask, you know, and
Yeah.
we can, Linda has volunteers and we can fill in if needed, so
Yeah.
just don't hesitate.
I think it's a communication thing too. It's like, okay, so let's delegate someone to, like you
Yeah.
said, go get the food because.
Right, because Cindy left the fair for however long to go get food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just, I'm just suggesting that you reach out more on those kind of things especially. Great. Carol, what's new on Elder Services?
They had their annual meeting. And it was very nice. It was in Cape Cod in Hyannis. It was well-attended. And they had a presentation by Erin Perry, who is the Deputy Director of the Cape Cod Commission, which was very interesting, showing that the population of our age is actually not only the greatest as far as it goes as Cape Cod and the islands, but in the state and then nationally.
So the Cape is older than anywhere else in the country?
Anywhere else in the country,
Even Florida.
even Florida.
Oh,
Acres.
Yep. And if anybody wants to see the presentation, it is available at capecodcommission.org or datacape.org.
So this is, Cape has an older
Highly-
average
Highly
population.
recommended to look at that.
It was really, and
Presentation.
what was
You've seen
nice,
Is there a link you can send us?
CapeCodCommission.org.
capecodcommission.org.
And they have lots of other things. They have
Or Data
housing,
Cape.
Yeah.
and
It's
It
a tremendous
was-
resource,
Yeah,
but
I
this
get a lot of stats from
presentation
it.
in particular is.
It was not only, I was very proud because it was all the things we had come up with on the survey. Actually, the housing, the transportation, the available services were all there and intermingled. And this is a whole entire commission as to how they're going to handle it.
no easy answers, but,
No,
you know, we're doing the things that make lives better for our seniors, and
and I
that's,
feel like saying, hey, I'm from East Hampton.
Did you raise your hand and say, did you raise your hand and say, we got a survey that says exactly
the
that?
same, which was very nice.
Nice.
They also had retiring president, and Sharon was stepping down after 5 years, and we have a new president that's coming in, so let's see.
New president.
Yep,
The new president used to work
work.
at EOEA, Executive Office of Elder Affairs.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Mary McKenna,
Oh, yeah.
who
That
was
is
the
what I-
overseer of the statewide Ombudsman program.
I used to yell at Mary Ann.
And I worked for Mary McKenna too, through being the ombudsman person, so, yeah, so they got somebody who
good,
had a
Right.
strong background.
So,
Right.
will be interesting.
great.
How often are you guys meeting again?
They have changed the meetings, actually, June will be our next meeting, but they've reduced it to 6 times a year.
So like
instead
every
of-
other month?
Right, but like I said, the annual meeting,
Right.
month before, we didn't meet.
Yep,
Great. Terrific.
great.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
Great, thank you. Transportation, I have not done anything.
Yeah, We're working
Okay,
on
good,
it.
good.
That's the next,
Yep,
I've got my list, so
Yep.
that's next on my list. So Cheryl, I'll, when I'm
Oh,
ready.
yeah, when you're ready, let me
Yeah,
know.
Will do. Thank you.
now it's time for the Friends.
Can I
Oh,
just
yeah,
do
sorry,
this?
sorry. Oh, yeah, Cheryl, sorry.
Because I'm going to have,
It's a
let
program,
me
yep.
leave
Yeah,
before you
yeah, yeah.
guys finish.
Yeah,
So as you know, the LGBTQ Community Coffee's been meeting every month, the first Monday, and so we get new people, and, you know, it's an ebb and flow, but we're averaging 10 to 12, and it's really good. And the group wanted to do something for Pride Month, and with everybody's, Joan's really been a very good ally with the support of Monica and Dorothy. So, and if you could pass these in the back. We are having a potluck on June 14th to celebrate Pride. We're having it at Chapel in the Pines, thanks to the support we're getting through the Friends. And so we have a few of our members who are bringing the main dish, so we make sure we don't have all just brownies. You know, potato chips.
Oh, but you can
Say
have different types of
potluck. What
brownies.
does that mean?
What?
You can have different types of brownies.
So anyways, we have now established a Gmail account for this because in the past, in the newsletter, we've been using my personal email. And I feel like as we expand to the larger world, I'm not really
Yeah.
all that comfortable
it's good.
having my personal email.
it makes us seem more real, too,
Yeah, official.
official.
Do you believe it or not, I tried for Eastham Pride and it was already taken. So
By
that's
me.
how we got Pride Eastham.
By you, right?
And so, you know, we're broadening the definition of older from 50 plus. But of course, if somebody has a friend or a partner who's 30 or 20, they'll bring whoever they want to bring. And the chapel is very excited to
To host
support
us, yeah,
this
very
and partner
supportive.
this. They said they think there's a great need for it. And it's going to be very casual, just food and conversation and
A little music in the background, maybe.
a little music in the background, and if there's not too many, we'll push chairs away after eating and blast some other Pride music. So this is just our first attempt. We're not looking for a huge crowd. If we get 30 or 35 people, we'll feel pleased about that. Anyone's well, if you all would want, you don't have to. I mean, because this isn't the open event that we're talking about doing, which is a large.
If you want to help wash dishes, we could use dishwashers.
Yeah, we are going to use real dishes and silverware as
Oh,
a
really?
conservation, because,
You don't like the paper.
no, I don't like paper.
Well, and neither does the chapel in the
And
Pines.
if you read what the chapel, their guidelines are, they don't really want us to use paper either.
They have service for 70 people there, sit down, you know.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they have
So we
the
will be
tables
asking
and
to use our
tablecloths and
tablecloths
napkins.
and napkins.
We'll get that ahead, yeah.
But anyways, so this is it. If you want more copies, or you have a place to post this, or want to do something,
Pass it
feel
along
free.
to a friend you think might be
Or
interested.
we can send you an email copy. It's our first attempt, so we'll give it a try. And, you know, we're not looking to do something like this every month. You know, if we did something 2 or 3 times a year, I think that would be a great step. And the coffee, the people want to keep coming to the coffee. And like I said, we broke it out that the planning group doesn't, we don't plan during the coffee. We do get input, but we don't take up that time.
Did you say 8 to 10 attend the coffee? Is that what you said?
No, I said 10 to 12.
Oh, 10, oh, yeah, okay.
I love it. We're seeing new people, which is so great. At the
Yeah.
coffees, yeah.
And some
There's
people who are
faces.
very isolated, and it's a wide range.
It is, yeah.
Are they Eastham people?
Majority, but not 100%.
Because Wellfleet does not have a program yet, right? I think that's.
No.
so-
But there are a couple people who, because of Chatham and Yarmouth and Orleans, some of our folks, particularly those who are widowed, and they go to, because they're on different days of the week.
Right.
So we were very careful. I would have liked this a little later, but Orleans does their huge popular cookout on the 21st. So, hey,
Well, We're
it will
pulling
be a
it
good
off.
time.
Yeah, that's good.
So thank you all for your support on this. People are very grateful.
Terrific. Great. So now to the friends.
Well, here I am going out.
Finally,
With a big bang.
She's so happy.
A lovely luncheon
give
yesterday,
it to me.
and I got lovely plaque and award and flowers and
That's what they had at the end.
thanks to Dorothy Mom and all the guys. And the board.
Pick them up and.
And the town. The town
Right.
recognized
Patty
you
was
too.
there, so I.
Everybody recognized you too.
Whereas,
But I know.
It was a real effort by us all.
If you don't want it, I'm not insulted.
He introduced our new staff, and
Okay.
Mindy is sitting right next to me. Mindy will be taking over as president. And,
Karen had to leave,
oh,
Yeah, she had to go.
Karen Harmon.
Karen had to leave, but Mary Jane will be taking over as treasurer. Welcome her, and she has a great background. And I don't know, if you guys want to do a little? Not prepared.
When's your official? In the fall.
Right,
In the
exactly.
fall.
Not official, not
In the
right,
fall.
we're not there yet.
Right.
And Terry is going to stay on as assistant treasurer, and Sue Bernhardt, who is not here today, is going to stay on as secretary, and she's great. She is very efficient, and she gets a lot of things out for us, so that's wonderful. And, you know, we're looking, I'm going to stay on the board for a while at least, and as long as I'm able. And I just want to say that I think the Friends is got some really new good blood, and I think who knows what's going to happen. I'm a lot of excitement with what's going on now, and we're branching out. I was talking to Dorothy the other day, and one of the things that I'm always sort of in tune to is the costs. So I mentioned that Mahjong is being taught at the senior center, but the charge was $90, and we agreed that that's way over the top.
Because we didn't have enough people. So we're going to switch gears and offer it again. In the fall, I spoke with her, and.
I would have paid $90
Yeah,
to learn how
it's
to.
I think it's a 5-week class. So the idea actually came from Mahjong players who said, this woman's fabulous, go for it. So I contacted her, and then I went back to the Mahjong players, and I said, oh yeah, that's good. So the feedback I got was a little different from the players, and this woman does this at all the COAs and charges this fee.
Per person?
Per person, yeah.
That is ridiculous.
So it's 5 weeks?
It's 5 weeks, yeah.
10 people, 5 weeks, and $200 for an hour per time.
Yeah, but they're killer afterwards.
So long and the short, I kind of went to the pros, the Mahjong pros. They were good with it. I looked at everybody else. They're doing the same thing. And then Pat did approach me, and I hadn't thought of it because, I don't know, it seemed like it was flying everywhere else, so I just kind of went with it. We only had 2 people RSVP for it. So Pat and I discussed maybe charging a small fee, like maybe $10 or something, just for accountability for the entire class and having the friends pick up the class, or, you know, 25.
I was thinking
Or a
25 bucks,
reasonable-
$5
$5 a
a
class,
session.
yeah.
Reasonable fee. A
Yeah,
reasonable fee.
so something
So the
like
Friends will
that.
help subsidize the $90 fee.
And
Well-
Mahjong is a good game.
It is, yeah.
Stimulating.
Yeah,
And again, that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do.
Right.
With the seniors, and
Right.
it's a fun game.
Right.
So I think more people would like to learn it without paying $90.
And maybe some of the students could teach after a while.
so 25, you think? 25,
well,
$5 a class?
you have that in the budget, that we're going to
Yeah.
talk about a little later.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the current plan, which of course
Right.
subject to change.
I mean, I think it is worth, you know, if other people are doing it, float it. If it doesn't work, then we can come back and revise it.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
don't know.
Until we try
And because it is a
right?
small group of people that we're subsidizing now,
Right,
right?
right,
A very
yeah.
small group.
So this
So-
instructor is well
Yeah,
regarded,
she's in the
and
circuit. She's well-known for teaching this.
she's got a shtick.
Yeah, she's fabulous from what I've heard,
She knows how to
so,
make money.
I'm gonna work with her. She didn't have availability to, shift gears for the summer, so we're just gonna shoot
That's
forward
better
in the fall.
anyways.
It is better. I think we won't get a lot of people, in the summer, so we'll redo it, at a different price in the fall and see if we can pick up, some people.
Could that be a hybrid program or not?
Not really, yeah.
You have to have a board.
Yeah, you kind of really have to be there.
Okay, great.
You're going to have a GoPro on your head and be taking, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Well,
tricky.
yeah. Anything else, Pat?
And again, our main goal is to bring as many seniors in as we can, without overcharging them, like, making the exercise classes so accessible is made a big, big difference. So the more we can offer and charge as little as we can, because as Terry keeps telling us, we have a lot of money, so.
Which is a strange
we
thing
should
for me to say.
utilize it.
Well, it's a good thing.
I will add a little bit, which is we're very, very pleased, all of us new incoming people, to have so many of the already established people staying on the board to guide us along and help us through, because it's a lot to learn. Ease that transition, and we appreciate all the experience and knowledge that you guys bring to the table. So we do appreciate you. I know you wanted to just leave, but they said, okay, we'll stay on. Several, Terry and Pat and Joanne said they'd stay for the year,
Yeah.
which gives us a chance to wrap up. And the other quick thing I just wanted to say was I just saw this really great, I could send you the link. It was a show on PBS online, and they were talking about, it was a woman who teaches, I think, neurology at NYU, and she's the dean of students. And they were talking about the plasticity of the brain and which parts, there's two parts of the brain that regenerate brain cells, which I'm always interested in because I've had brain trauma. And one is the hippocampus, and they have found that one of the best things for regenerating brain cells is physical activity. And so the movement classes that we offer here that we're subsidizing are not just good for the physical activity of our seniors and also for the monitoring of our seniors, because we know who's
Checks and
missing, we know
balances,
we can
yeah.
watch, when people's balance is off, like, so it's good on a lot of levels. But now this other piece of it's really good for, they're looking at physical movement for staving off Alzheimer's. So yay for all the movement classes.
Yep, yep. And I think on behalf of all of us here on the board, Pat, we owe a lot to you for increasing all the things that have happened. Certainly, the center puts them on, but because of your standing up and saying, we want to use our money towards free classes,
Yeah.
I think that has driven more attendance than anything else we could have done. It's brought in new people, younger people. The programming is so much more diverse, and we owe you a big thank you for that. And for driving that thrift shop. And we'll even think of you every time somebody says, we need more volunteers.
Well, we couldn't do anything without without Dorothy and Monica and all the wonderful volunteers that we get. Volunteering is such a good, healthy thing. It gets you out, it gets you with people. It's just, once people get going, and it's very easy to get isolated, I think, here on the Cape. And that's what the senior center is trying to do, bring more people together, which I think we're doing a great job.
Well, we should sign you up for a class on volunteerism.
And arm twisting, you do.
Yeah, and arm twisting.
And I mentioned this yesterday, but I really, there is no other Friends group supporting councils on aging like ours.
I don't know if everybody's heard
Yeah,
your
so-
experience at this seminar recently.
Yeah, so I talked about this yesterday, but I think I mentioned I presented at the Massachusetts Council on Aging Spring Symposium. So I presented our newsletter outreach and all the things that we're doing. And most were directors, and they asked, how are you funding? How are you doing all these awesome things? And I said, the Friends, and they were amazed. Their friends had no fundraising efforts. One group had a grant they were given, and they didn't plan on like getting more money. They were just gonna split that over like 10 years, so the COA gets $3,000 to spend on programs for the year, for the entire year. So it was just amazing to me, because people could not believe what the Friends support here. So kudos, really, because I'm lucky, our community's lucky. We can do so much. It's really amazing. It really is.
You could have really blown them away if you told them, oh, by the way, the Friends bought the building we're in.
Oh, yeah, right? I know.
Really
Going
blown them away.
historical, right? I know. This group has been, for decades, doing so much for our members and continues to do so. So thank you.
Thank you for all your years of service, too many that you couldn't even name them. You couldn't even name them. We tried to pin you down.
Pat, I talked a few times, we're like, what's the number? How many? Like,
So thank you again.
Well, talking
And we
about
look forward to the new one.
I'm sorry, talking about expansion and getting the word out about the senior center, I was walking my dogs, which I do every morning at Wiley Park, and I happened to go earlier today because I had the meeting. And I ran into a person who has a dog, and she was mentioning that her mother is in her late 80s and has the perception that the senior center is where the daycare center is. And I'm not going to go there because that's the tar pit I'm going to get sucked into. And so basically, I had to say, that's been closed since COVID, and there's no plans to open it. And the next thing she said was, well, you know, my mother is active very early in the morning. I said, yeah, mine is too. That's what happens. They go to bed at, 7:30, 8 o'clock. They're up at 3:34, and they want to do something at 7. I said, she says, do you have any programs that start at 7? I said, not yet, but that is something that the oldest of the old start to want.
Rich, I'll call you at 7 to come on in.
No, but I'm just saying that's, and I said,
even-
not
yeah.
yet, but
But, yeah, even exercise classes, a lot of people like to do early.
The days that I was there for those coffees over Veterans Day, I think you know the couple, wife and husband came in. She was coming not because he was a veteran, but because he was having a really awful morning, and all he wanted to do was get out of the house, and she said, we've been out in the parking lot for like a half hour, just waiting. So it is obviously something to think about, you know?
what happens with the oldest of the old is that there's a shift in their activity pattern. They start shutting down at between 4:30 and 5, and they're in bed by 7, 8, and they're up at 3:34, and they want to do stuff, and I'm just saying, be aware of that. I'm not saying we got to go there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, be aware of that.
But that might be an opportunity, honestly, to run like some of our hybrid or canned programming, like yoga classes or things like
Yeah,
that.
at 7 in the
That
morning.
that you don't need a physical presence at the center. Yeah.
What time does our coffee start? Is that like 8:39?
9.
Yeah, that's what I told her. She says, how about coffee? Do they have coffee at 7? I said, no, I think it's at 9.
We're not a hotel.
Yeah. Something you may want to consider is.
We
doing
hit the ground
doing
running
YouTube.
when we walk in.
Oh, I'm sure
I
you
mean,
will.
we don't even have a minute to like get in our
Wendy
door.
was away for a long period of
Yeah.
time. When she got married, she had recorded the TV guys
Yeah.
came in and made these great, and they're on YouTube. So if you.
Yeah, so,
Right, they
so
are online.
basically, a lot of them, so all they have to do is just click a link
Yeah.
and do it at home. at
Would your mom
3:30
do
in the
that?
morning.
That's kind of hard for a lot of people, though,
Yeah.
My
Because
mother's
they're
Mom,
not computer
do
savvy.
something virtually?
especially first thing in the
No,
morning.
not unless
No.
somebody was there to do it. I mean,
Right, they crave the.
she's as technologically savvy as,
Because we do, we have some
As your
links
dogs?
available, but I don't know,
It's different if it's
they
a
want
learning
the,
class, like
They did a beautiful job with
cerebral
those.
class, you can
Right.
sit and do
They-
at
they
home,
did
or
such a
a
beautiful
conversation,
job in
but
putting that
They do a
physical
beautiful job on
activity,
stuff.
most people just don't
All
do it.
sorts of little
Could,
prompts in it and.
could we show them how to save, like, the link, like we do on the big screen? We save a link for those classes right on the home screen, so you don't have to search for it, you don't
It's
have to
not the
do anything.
technology, It's the motivation, right?
Yeah.
People get motivated when they're in a group and when
Yeah.
it's live, and it's not as motivating.
For the exercise,
That's
yeah.
exercises,
But
yes.
but it might be a good caregiver resource to say to a caregiver like this woman.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
if we can't get you out of the house at 7.
We
but
have
this is what you
programming,
can do.
online programming, a senior channel or
I
something.
gave my mother an iPad Pro about 10 years ago, and every time I ask for it, it's like this music playing like, "Ooh," and it comes out and it's shrouded in, like the chalice comes out, and it's being presented as the offerings at communion, you know, it's like, here it is, you know? And
But I-
unless somebody does it for her, it's just,
But I think it is a good caregiver resource. This woman clearly, you know, and you know what I just thought, Dorothy? You just did a presentation on all of our offerings. Could we get that up as a link, as a place for us, just like for this woman who still thinks we have daycare
Well, it's
here?
more like statistical and for, I don't know that it would be appropriate for that,
So-
but we could
Okay.
do,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I pulled like analytics from like Constant Contact and, you know, that kind of information.
Okay, so maybe it's time to
Well, maybe make a little video,
make a little,
like of people attending classes.
yeah.
and there's no
Yeah.
little
daycare to suck
promo.
you in.
A little promo.
That we could, Devin, if you're listening, we could ask Devin to
I
come
think
and
it-
video some of
Yeah.
our
A little-
classes.
I'm thinking I can
Yeah.
check with Lower Cape
Oh,
TV.
yeah, that's what I was
And
thinking.
see what time do they start the
Programming.
programming, and if they start, like, if they don't start until 9, I'll see if I can suggest that they start at like 7, so that people who are up that early could see. I
Tune in.
don't know that offhand,
Yeah.
but I
They're
can check into it
all
and
up
see.
that early,
Yeah.
all of them.
I noticed
Get
that,
the, on the schedule for, like, the Comcast schedule,
yeah,
they won't list what we have.
yeah.
So I'll find out what time they start and let everybody know. And if they don't have anything, I'll get back to everyone and find out what's a good suggestion for that hour.
Great.
Would we be able to approach Lower Cape TV to sort of do
Promo.
just a short bunch of, you know, video of what's going on in the center, and then, you know, have Dorothy sort of narrate
You know,
what's,
Well, they do
They do.
Spotlights,
PSA,
like
public service
spotlights, yeah.
announcements.
I'm just thinking that.
And the day's
this-
coming up soon where they'll do them for free, and they have an organized, like, every half hour.
that's great.
They do them. I'll find out
I
what
just think
day.
it's a great way to let people know what's going on.
Well-
That
I
isn't
think
the
they
news,
do
I
the-
know the newsletter does it, but,
Right.
you know, hit them
Well,
with everything.
you're also rebranding as, I see, the Eastham Center now, right? Sometimes you're dropping senior.
Yeah, sometimes we-
you know?
yeah.
And it's almost like the Eastham Center, it's not just for seniors, or it's not your grandmother's seniors, or it's not your,
Yeah.
you know, it's like it's younger.
Not
And
just for
show,
your usual senior.
well, I mean, I remember the moving guy, you know, at Magnum, I was going to ask him to help us move things when we were redoing the
Right, I
center.
remember
And, you know, he said, my mother's 92 and she won't go near the place. She thinks it's for old people, you know? So,
Well, how many
And-
times have you heard that?
oh, all the time, right.
Good job.
So I think a little
Let's-
video that
Let's,
shows some,
Yeah, Lower Cape TV does the PSAs, I
PSAs,
know. But I think it would be fun to show some of the things going on.
like,
right?
I have to say, whoever came off the van the day of the health fair, people are glowing because they're having a really good time on what they now call the party bus.
And it was Margie. I'm gonna guess it was Margie.
It is such a great activity.
Funk bus.
It really is the funk bus. Like, but even just letting people know that something like that exists, because they are having a lot of fun.
and that woman is 100 years old.
I'm thinking
You know.
it had to be Margie.
Oh, yeah, she was
Oh,
telling
yes,
us
yeah.
all, what,
It was her,
hi,
and
I'm
it was-
100, hi, I'm
It
100.
was Margie.
She always
There was
said
someone else who
199.
said, you know, we just go for fun.
And she goes,
not, you're not.
yeah, they go for the ride, they come to exercise.
But
they-
that's such a great activity, just that socialization on the bus, looking around, so, yeah, so
So
let's,
I'll
we'll,
talk to Devin about coming to
Just film some
video
things.
some of the
yeah.
hop on the van.
You're gonna need releases for these people if you're gonna show photos of
We
them.
can do that.
Yeah.
Just,
I mean, Jenny's painting class is packed, right?
Right,
Yeah, and she has a
right.
great,
Yeah. So we can
Yeah.
pick and choose.
Because we have a photographer now.
No, that's just for the annual meeting.
To take photos.
That's a very circumscribed event.
It's hard to find a venue where enough people, I don't know how many people from East Town watch Lower Cape TV.
Not
But
many.
there's certainly plenty of opportunities if you do just a small handout of some, even palm card, whatever, a little brochure, to take to Windmill Weekend, to take to Eastham events, to show people who else is using the center and what are we offering?
But even a link on the Eastham pages, you know,
Right.
or to a
And-
little
and
video,
something to
like to
take
show
with
younger
you.
people, active
Absolutely.
people, that it's not just, you know, your grandmother's seniors.
And there's no daycare anymore.
Right.
And there's no take care.
Unfortunately.
But I think something that we all have
Oh, it's
at our fingertips to share with our churches, or, you know, whatever, we all have
Connections
affiliations
elsewhere, yeah.
where we can share it. So I just think it's a great thing to promote what the center.
And short, yeah,
Yeah,
short and sweet.
Pictures.
We're the center of it all, aren't we?
Yeah.
The Eastham
So
Center.
now you're calling it the Eastham Center,
Okay.
huh?
She is in some
Sometimes
things.
drop the
Sometimes we're just
senior,
the
we just get a
center.
little,
Or
we
just
try
the
to get a little.
center,
Yeah.
which I like.
The center,
Yeah,
yeah.
the center.
Is that in preparation for the community center concept, or?
So I think this is a bigger picture thing, though. I think this is a work in progress and rebranding ourselves. You know, we don't have a logo, we just have the town website.
A lot of centers have changed their name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So I
Centers
think
for
it's
Active
a Kind of a
Living.
bigger marketing
Adult Center.
initiative
I think
in
that's
my,
what
in my
Chad means,
head,
something
right?
like that.
Yeah, this, yeah,
Is
the
there a
sign
current logo
outside
for the
still,
We're at Senior
No.
Center. Okay. All right, that's an idea.
Old
Yeah,
people
so
and
I think
crutches on
this
the
is
logo.
kind of a big
Yes.
picture item, so.
I do too. Okay.
Move forward.
So moving forward, but I think it is a great idea we should
Yeah.
pursue, so we'll think about it. In your summer away from us, you can think of.
Perfect, I have nothing else to do.
All right, the Friends budget. Terry, you did
All
a
right.
great job presenting it
Now,
yesterday.
actually, we're going to talk about where we are financially.
Thank you.
I think a lot of you saw
Well, that's what I
yesterday.
meant, sorry. I mentioned
Yeah.
Yes,
financial.
that's okay. So right now, we're at almost 92,000 in income. There's a fair chance that we'll break $100,000. Well, if you think about it, we've got a long holiday weekend coming up.
Yeah.
We basically given people less of an opportunity to walk away because we take charge cards. And we take Apple Pay and Google Pay and debit cards. So there's a lot less reason for somebody to, you know, think they're going over to Siemens Bank to take cash out and pay us, because they can pay us right there.
Have you ever hit 100,000 before?
I don't think so. I'm not sure we've ever been close to
I
that.
think you need to have a new flag for that.
Yeah, the Century Club. So obviously, you know, 58% of our revenue comes from the thrift shop, but traditionally, the thrift shop is 75, 80% of our income. So what's happened? Well, what's happened is we've gotten a bunch of donations and you know, $2,000, $1,000 at a pop, got a $2,700 grant. And the membership is up considerably. Because if you think about where we were last year, that was about $500. So we've got a lot more paying, but when, they're, you know, they'll give us a check for $100 to pay for a $10 membership, and that's not uncommon. Sometimes it's even more than that. So the increase in membership is driving up more donations. And of course, we had our bash, which, you know, $6,000 more in income and net of $4,000. Of course, when we were talking about this in January, we had no idea what was going to happen. So it was pretty much a success by any measure. And we're talking about another fundraiser. And so we've had so far a very good year financially. More income for a number of reasons, all good reasons. And we go on to the expense side. Again, most of our, you know, 2/3 of our spending is at the programs, as well it should be. Then the thrift shop has its overhead, and most of that's rent. You know, $10,000 of that, $10,500 of it is rent, which, by the way, again, I'd like to reiterate, it's a bargain. That's part of that symbiotics between the town and the thrift and the senior center. You know, we're all in this together. And we've donated $6,000 to Mustard Seed, Lower Cape, and Family Table, all good organizations that benefit our seniors here in Eastham. Our Winter Bash $2,000 in expenses. And then our other overhead for the organization, a little over $1,000. Odds and ends, there's like a memorial, flowers for, some of our people who have passed. It's odds and ends fees for our tax filings. And the biggest item, I think, is our postal, the postal fee, the bulk mailing fees in there. It's about a third of that. So where we are today, we're at about $23,000 to the positive. So there's absolutely, from a financial point of view, does it get better than this? Maybe. Although we spent a lot of money yesterday, but it's not reflected in here yet. So our liquid assets, our checking account, which is, I keep it kind of to our operational minimum. Got a little buffer there with our money market. CD of $67,000, which will mature on my birthday. And that's a yield of 4.25%. We've shifted to primarily a T-bill rate of basically funding our kind of free cash, so to speak. And the rates, you can see those are in the 5.3, 5.4 range.
Great.
And then I talked about yesterday of having, we do have some investment account with Fidelity, some Pfizer stock, which has gone from 40 to 28 since last year. So, and then a spinoff from Pfizer. Our memorial fund with Tom Hocko, which is kind of consistently stays in the mid 5,000 range. And our Project Refresh Fund, which we've talked about some things to use some of that money. I don't know where we're going on that, but we'll see. But it's there. And the last thing, did a little square analysis. We brought, basically charge card capability. February was the beginning. February was a short month and always for us. Started in mid-month and a short month on top of that. So,
Wow.
We had $3,400 in sales in February, and, quarter of that was, charge card. If you look at it for this first quarter, that we were we had 13,000 in total sales. 29% of it was from our charge cards,
Great.
Yeah.
all right?
That's a great
Definitely
thing.
encourages
And our
people
fees
to
were
spend more.
2.9%. And we're talking about getting another square terminal.
Really? Wow.
Well, what happens is you get, especially, and it's going to happen this weekend, you're going to have people lined up.
Right.
It's a quick process, but it takes time.
Right.
And so, the folks that manage the thrift shop feel like we could use another terminal. So, that'll be another $400 roughly.
Terry, if they don't charge it, are they paying in cash
Or a check.
or check?
Cash, well, traditionally, it's cash or check. And what happens, people quite often don't have either. And now, and we say, well, you can go down to the Siemens Bank down the street, and quite often, they just keep going.
Right.
So now they have no excuse to leave.
Yeah, there's a gravitational field effect if you're close. Okay, I got a card.
Yeah, yeah,
A little more impulse stuff that they can do.
yeah, and absolutely. So I think this is going to increase our sales, it'll help.
Oh, yeah. Great.
But realize we still need volunteers to man the registers and sort things and help. And, of course, we've got to get donations. You have to have merchandise to sell, so. Anyway, any questions on all of this?
No, great.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
think we're ready to talk about the budget. So Dorothy and I, mostly Dorothy, by the way, has been working on this. And you all have this here.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little disjointed in the, I didn't do the page break, so,
So this is the budget for next year.
Oh, you
Yeah.
should have printed my copy.
here, I've got, yeah.
Can we put
I
it
didn't
up
know
on the
what it was.
screen or not? So it's all on one page, or it doesn't matter? It's not too good the way it is.
Actually, when it shows on
It's
the
not
screen.
too helpful the way it is.
cut it off, so.
What? We could blow up a section at a time, right? I mean, this is pretty hard to.
No, I think on the screen it'll show. It'll show
Oh, yeah, we should put it on the
Yeah.
screen, yes.
Just log into my email.
You didn't have a header to know that
Heck
it was
with this.
budget. So how did you do it? Programs first?
Fairly
Yeah.
similar to last year.
Oh,
Some
like that.
additional things that were added.
Yeah, but see, this is on the back. Neil's.
There's what it looks like.
Ah, okay.
Margin.
That's the problem, and not only that, but it's,
All right, well, that's how it's going to look up on the screen.
Could you bring up the one that I sent you 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday? Because that also shows kind of our first look at the whole picture.
I didn't even look at it.
And do you have last year's actuals to compare this to? We were
I didn't.
over or under, or,
As far as
Dorothy's programs, you know, like she puts in
from last year, I don't have it with me now.
to see if where we were over or under, that was all.
Well, I don't know how well that would actually compare. Are you talking about the last year's, or this year's original plan?
Well, we
There
had
it
a
is.
budget, and then what our actual spending. You know, like if we budgeted $100 for a program and it
For
cost us
last
200 or
year?
300, yeah.
I think one of the things,
It looks
new
better.
programs have been added. I don't know if it'd be a fair comparison. In some cases, it would.
I wonder how well we tracked our actual spending to last year's budget, so we
You
could
mean the one
see
this year's?
the current years, yes,
Yeah.
current year.
I haven't really tracked that, all, you know, like, good.
you go on the back, very last one.
Let's not look at this at all.
No. We don't have it,
Not the income side of it.
no.
Do we have a deficit of 20,000?
Could I vote that we don't have the air conditioning on the next meeting?
Oh my God, I'm so close.
Can I second that?
It's getting colder.
Or we can vote that you wear heavier clothing.
Well, it's summer.
I'm not sure you get to,
I don't think it's a choice. I almost went out to get the dog blanket.
that's
I'm
why
not
I
the only
wore
one
a
that's cold.
jacket.
I'm freezing.
If I didn't have this, I'm cold and I have the jacket.
I have 2 dog blankets.
I took a walk before I
It kinda
came.
smells.
You have to bring your
I took a walk
tailgate.
before I came, so I was a little bit sweaty. So now I'm sitting here like,
I don't watch the news, I'll tell you.
Oh, much warmer now.
I don't know.
So we don't have actual versus budget from last,
Okay, I'll
from
run
the
to the
current
garden.
year?
Well, we haven't finished the year.
Okay, so how are we
Well,
going to
year
go
to
through
date.
this?
Not at that, I can, well,
No, I was just wondering, Terry.
Cheryl,
Okay.
can I have one?
We're looking at,
Oh, yeah, I thought everyone took one. Do you want a couple?
is this like projected,
Oh,
Terry?
sorry, Linda, right
Thrift
there.
shop?
Oh, you got an extra?
up there, I just kind of plugged some numbers in.
I made,
So
got it,
projected
okay.
revenue, yeah.
Well, probably the thrift shop is good, the donations and grants is probably conservative. Think about grants, it's binary, you
Right,
either get
right,
it, you know.
exactly, yeah.
But based on our donations, that's probably a little bit
Right.
low, but, membership dues, you know, given where we are, I hope to continue the same trend.
Are we keeping dues the same this year?
$10?
I think that's an ongoing discussion.
between the friends.
People
For
have
the
already
friends.
paid for fiscal
They've already-
year
okay.
25.
So,
I guess yes.
yeah, all right.
I think that's something we would probably do, like a January notification.
Yeah, that would have to, I was just asking because I'm going to do the next newsletter, but yeah, it is kind of too late.
When
to
do we
think
know when our
about, so.
membership expires? Do you guys send us a note or anything?
No, we haven't.
That's been on my mind.
June 30th.
It's been on my mind.
It's
Yeah,
a,
it's July 1st is the first, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
we-
okay,
we
so
don't
if I
have
did
rolling
something,
memberships?
what?
We don't have rolling memberships, it's calendar
We
year.
haven't.
Fiscal year.
Isn't it supposed to be on the address of the,
It is, yeah.
It is.
but nobody understands what it is?
I don't know if on the, Dorothy probably knows, I don't know if in the address it's based on a year from when you paid, but in the bylaws, it's fiscal year.
Yeah.
It's fiscal year.
And that's,
Wasn't
It is
that-
fiscal year,
So you just put the year on there?
yeah. I think it actually says FY.
People get the newsletter without being a member.
yes.
They do, everybody gets them. out
Yeah,
in
no,
the
that's great,
newsletter,
yeah.
So while we're on that topic of newsletter, do we, the database that you use to, or whatever you use to make that mailing list, is it age, like at a certain age you start getting it?
So it's 59 and over, or if you sign up to be a member. but we are not up to date.
No, so what I'm saying is like the 59 and older, that information comes from,
Town?
Town,
the town provides you with,
voters.
oh, so it's
Oh,
registered?
voters?
So
I think
that's-
it's voters.
Yeah, it has to be,
Census
because
number.
It's
otherwise,
through the town clerk.
Oh,
Yeah.
is everybody a
I
registered
just,
voter?
I think that would be, just the, how do you know when something is undeliverable? Is my point.
We don't,
The post office doesn't
because
know
it's not, it's a bulk mailing, so unless somebody contacts us and says we
Okay.
didn't receive it or.
Okay, thank you.
Just as a point of note, I don't get it at home.
You don't get
It does not come to my mailbox.
What?
Do you have a PO box?
No, I do not.
Are you registered to vote?
Absolutely.
Had to ask. No, I'm just wondering.
I don't think
Isn't that
it goes to
interesting?
every, it
I
doesn't.
don't get it.
Well, how many do we
And
send
I-
out?
And I'm,
Just
I've
under
got my
3,000.
senior card, because, and I come to classes, so you've got my address that way, as well as through
Huh.
registration.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll check, yeah.
We'll check when we
I mean,
get
that-
back.
And maybe, maybe it's my mailman.
I will say that occasionally when my senior center does an upgrade or an update to the system, sometimes those things get thrown off. So but we can.
I'm gonna check the last,
I don't think I got the last one or two.
Oh,
you
really?
haven't either?
The last one, maybe, I didn't get. So I grabbed one at the center.
Well, I'm gonna look, at the very least, I'm gonna look at the last, it could be it could be,
Yeah, I mostly get them, but then every once in a while I'd like.
Did I ask this already? How many are going out in mail?
it's just under 3,000.
All right,
Yeah.
So that's not probably our whole senior population, is it?
No, we have to get up to date, as I was saying, in that database for everyone.
Because the
so.
year-round population
Bye,
is
Cheryl.
now
Bye.
closer to 6, right?
Huh.
We're close to 6 now.
Want me to vote
We're
for you?
over 60% of people in that
So-
age category, so it's not going to everyone.
Like your constant contact that you do on the emails, do you have any idea how many people you send those to?
Just say, closer to 900, 860 something,
How many?
like, almost 900, let's say, yeah. So, but some people have,
That's not.
taken,
Former in the
been
parking lot.
asked to be taken off,
No,
so
it is.
there was a whole thing with, somebody didn't get that, something we sent and they didn't get it, and it was, they had taken themselves off, so they had to put themselves back on to receive it, so.
No, I just wonder, like, is the post office a resource for us to find out about stuff that,
I gotta go to the.
like, what do they do if it's undelivered? I guess they deliver it anyway. They deliver it anyway.
No,
It
they
just
bring
doesn't-
it,
No, I'm just thinking about people who've died as the obvious, like, thing that died.
I'm
moved.
sure there's a lot that
Okay,
don't,
I was just
but,
curious. It's so hard
rarely,
leaving with you.
sometimes we'll get one returned to us, but it's pretty rare
I
that we
wouldn't
do
think,
because it's
yeah.
a bulk mailing.
I wouldn't think that.
Sometimes people call us, did somebody join us?
Need to.
Reason?
No, I have an appointment. Physical therapy.
All right,
okay.
sorry, I didn't mean to
All right,
divert.
yeah, let's get back on budget here. And I think that is a topic we have to look into. Good luck. It's going to everyone.
So, I mean, this is the first look
Yep,
for everybody except for Dorothy and I,
Yep.
because we've been working on this deal, again, mostly Dorothy.
It's a work in progress, so I
Yes.
think we'll vote final decision probably the next
Right,
meeting,
right.
because I think we've got some more work to do,
So
for sure.
what I would think would be potentially appropriate is that a couple of the board members kind of be the budget committee for the Council on Aging.
have a budget committee.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, go through this and, work with Dorothy to change the programs. Or not, take them as they are.
Yeah, I mean, I already gave Dorothy some, feedback.
Yeah.
I think, when we do a coffee and we have a $10 budget, we should probably up the budget. We have money, let's be a little more generous and, because we know that food brings people in, right? So we should look for things and, we're 30,000 ahead this year, right? Where would we want to spend it on programs?
Yeah.
Which is our charter, which is what, we think the Friends do, to really enrich some of these programs and not make everything, that the cheapest, and I know you're good at this.
I love
The
being
most frugal
frugal.
you can be.
I've gotten better, but I.
Yeah,
I
but,
love-
you know, where can we, where can we do
Well-
this that's gonna,
So this plan, and again, you know, we need to work more on the top line because we don't, you know, as far as the income, you know, we're going to have a fundraiser.
Right.
Because the fundraiser also spun off other donations. So right now, we're at $20,000 deficit from what we're going to bring in versus what's proposed to spend. And again, you know, this is the first pass at everything that we're sharing.
And a small reminder, last year when we were in a deficit, there was a lot of people unhappy on this board, so we went back. So I was very conservative this year, just so you know.
Stop. Stop being conservative, because even if we show a deficit, we're holding too much money in the
Right.
bank. People give us money
Yeah.
and donate money because they want us to spend it on the seniors here. They don't want us investing. It's just we should have a certain amount in investments, we should have a certain amount saved for a rainy day, for, you know, a year's worth of rent at the
Yeah.
thrift shop, all those conservative things. But over that, we should be spending it on our community, whether it's capital improvements, programming, whatever it is.
This has come up before, and you brought up this before, so my suggestion would be that you actually meet and decide on what you think is a reasonable reserve.
Agreed, we're gonna do that, and we'd like to meet with whoever's budget.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
do it
suggest
for-
that we should all just meet together and come up with this as one group. So
Absolutely.
budget committee and then you guys from the Friends, and let's take a good look at this and figure out what we wanna do, right?
Is there a big change in this year's budget? I'm having trouble, first of all, because I don't have my real glasses. What are the big changes in this year's budget from
There's
last year?
not a huge change. I can highlight, I added 2 additional fitness classes.
Awesome. Okay.
So I think that's good. These numbers also, you know, Wendy's out, Jenny's out. I just based it on full amount every
Yeah,
single
right.
week, you
That's
know,
good.
just go in that way.
Yeah.
I added a special outreach issue for the newsletter. I thought if we could get together, like we were talking about some of these resources or whatever it looks like, just really a good initiative there. So adding an extra mailing, because the town's picking up the full bill this year for the newsletter, right, for the printing,
except for the extra edition.
except for the extra edition, exactly.
So make sure everybody gets it.
Yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
a good initiative for the Friends is to come
That
up
would
with
introduce them.
2 or 3 initiatives for next year, if we're talking about spending money, come up with some ideas. 2 exercise classes, I think, is a great start, because to Pat's point, that's.
Maybe it's 4, like, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know,
mean,
you know? I
so
mean-
maybe you guys sort of drive some initiatives.
Well, I think it's all of us together.
Yeah.
You know, it's Dorothy recommending
Right.
things she thinks that we could beef up. It's, you know, the
Well,
board.
and are there other programs that you guys feel we're lacking, right?
Right.
Not to put it on your plate, not to say that your people have to do it, but, you know, is there a need that
Not
is
being
not
met,
being
yeah.
met in the senior community here that money would help?
For example, Rich just brought up, a lot of people are up early. Maybe we hire a part-time person to come in and run a coffee every morning from 7 to 9.
Or like Mary Jane was saying, take them on a walk,
Yeah.
go on a walk.
Just do an early morning walking group, you know, to me.
Not your
that's-
staff.
If,
Well, hired additional staff, you know,
Right.
not existing staff. But, you know, what could we add here? You know, could we do Saturday morning program? Could we do an evening program? I know that would draw a broader group of people. So I think those are the kind of things, and again, look at funding the person too, you know. We're not saying, you know, ask you to do more. We're saying what do we need to provide, and could we use some of this money to do it?
Yeah.
Right.
I think we have an opportunity with the recent reorganization, you know, because we're kind of part of the recreation organization, and they have assets and ideas, I'm sure,
We want
that
a lot of after-hours programming now.
certainly
you
over the
know.
next few months, yeah.
And I know the library, Friends Library, you may want to talk to them about how they, because they piloted off hours and their friends paid for that staff person. So we could probably easily model, you know, what they did if that's something we want to do.
That's Debbie Abbott, right? She's the
Yeah.
president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
Melanie, and we can talk to Melanie
Melanie,
too
too,
about
yeah.
the things. But, so I think it's, you know, how can we think a little bigger, because we are in a good financial position. And, yeah, I mean, baselining against last year for existing programs is great.
Right.
I mean, that's what you've done here, right?
Right. We added a couple things, but
Yeah, we
for
added
the
a
most
pride
part,
program,
right.
we added.
Community dinner,
Yeah.
which we're trying to partner with REC as community services now into the fall, so we're looking at that.
You've increased the donations to, let's see.
The meal programs.
Mustard seed and those
Yeah,
guys?
mustard
That's,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's good.
Yeah, and donating to the, to the folks that we use for.
Family table.
Family Table, LCOC, and Mustard Seed, which we did do, but Family Table I wanted to increase because they do
Yeah.
a lot of meals for us.
And the other thing is, you know, we need to look
Could
at,
even
I
go
mean,
higher.
you know, I would run an LCOC pantry. I mean, you know, I don't know that they need our money,
Right.
right?
Right.
So let's think about who needs our money.
Right.
Obviously, you know, I think obviously Mustard Seed and Family Table do,
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
not, you know, they're
Right.
totally donation,
Right,
you know,
right,
small
right.
agencies.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's think about what programs need
Yeah.
it the most.
For sure.
I don't know very much other than I've donated to the Helping Our Women, whether they can do something for us and we can give them money. I don't know. We haven't met with them yet, whether there's any sort of wash one hand and.
I've actually met with them a couple
Yeah.
of times, and they have amazing programs
Yeah.
that go on there, and educating everybody about who, and I met a woman there who does a great program called Below the Belt for women to talk about all things below the belt. And so I'm not so sure they're looking for money
Down
as
there.
they are looking for referrals, collaborations.
Okay.
I'm sure if, they're always looking for money, but I'm not.
I think they're more looking for manpower, in my
Manpower
opinion.
without
Yeah,
question.
that's what we all are looking for,
Didn't they
is
just get a
manpower.
big grant for transportation?
I think they did, yes,
Yeah.
that's.
It's, yeah, so that's what I'm gonna connect all of you. It's
Yeah,
a very small
that's
grant, but
really
it's really.
interesting
yeah.
how they did that.
So back on the budget, I just have had trouble seeing where how much of a deficit, I don't see where the deficit
Here,
is.
can I pull that?
Oh,
On the very last page.
okay.
Hold on, let me pull up.
Oh, it's not on that.
Here,
Oh,
yeah.
This is
okay.
a-
That's
this is a
why I can't
broader-
see
Look at
it.
this.
So you were making 81,000 and you spent 103 and you're down 20.
Yeah.
Got it.
But again, you know, first pass, you know, for instance, will we have another fundraiser? Probably.
So
You know, will it be as successful as this one? Who knows?
This is
How
the
much-
music thing.
And this didn't have program fees in it, did it? Have
I'm
any
sorry?
program fees in it for income?
Yes,
It does?
yeah,
Okay.
it's in here.
Yeah,
It does? Your
I
income
built
is in
them in.
there?
Is it in here too?
Yeah, if you're looking like the health and
Here,
fitness.
see right here.
Okay. You didn't have it at the top line income, you have it next
So
to the
program, payments and
Got it.
donations.
Yeah.
So it's here, payments and donations.
that wasn't included.
It wasn't printed very well. I should
No,
just
this
do
was
this
hard to
every
follow
meeting. We
because
should
it's
just
too-
have it digital for
Yeah,
everything.
these
Well-
pages
Agenda
should be.
and, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
No worries, it's
Oh, the
okay.
presentation up there? That's
Um,
awesome.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, we can just put the agenda, like everything, instead of all this paper stuff, right?
idea, good
Isn't that-
idea.
Wouldn't that be
What
easy?
we've got
I
is
vote for
this, and
that.
it ends there.
Well, yeah, but it's so.
No, and I'm like,
Oh, I see,
Yeah,
yeah.
so which one goes on the back of it?
So
Yeah.
there are,
Scissors and tape.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a craft,
that,
it's a
Gotta
craft
figure out
project.
which things cross over to
It's
each
silly
other.
putty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
Big silly putty.
I was looking at it and I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
So,
Okay.
so the only thing I would say is, you know, we should look at what we actually spent this year and make sure that none of these are mismatches, right?
Yeah.
You know, like your way home, you know, what did we actually spend this year?
About 3,600 so far, and we've been running like basically one a month. And we did,
Really?
We got it under
one or
control.
two, yeah.
We got it under
Yeah.
control.
Yeah, maybe too much.
Yeah.
That,
We need to
that
look at
may
also what
change,
it, like,
though.
where were we spending
Right,
too much,
coming
how many
into the
months were we
summer.
doing
Actually,
that?
it will change
When did it
until,
level out?
because
Well,
Right.
Kind of
Right,
thing.
the winter
there
months
was
for
some
us.
miscommunication
part of it
about
is
that, where they were
there was
not
some
giving out
actions,
the
like
vouchers.
the
the
frequent
same.
flyers really qualified for a better program for
For
them.
being stingy.
It's going
So-
to
So we need to
Those
make
are
sure we
relevant.
adjust for that kind of
Right.
stuff.
But I
No, and
think
I'm
the-
saying,
I
how
think
many
the
months did
programs-
we have,
Like, I
the
think
frequent
we-
flyers running at a
Probably
high rate?
2 or 3.
Versus.
We'll end
Two or
up
three.
using more.
So if
Maybe
it was
four.
over
In my
budget, then.
opinion, I
yeah,
don't know.
we
That's
need
good to know that, right?
Well, we were doing, I think, what, we figured out about 2 trips or something.
Right now, we're running
About
on
one
average
and-
2 a month.
Yes.
Back a
So I
year
went up
ago,
to
we were
3.
running 10 or 11.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so maybe we budget for 3 or 4.
I did 3. I
Budgeted for
budgeted
3.
for 3
Yeah,
for
that's
this year.
great.
And we
which I
raised it
figured was
from
about-
$110 to $120, assuming at some point they're going to raise the price.
Yeah.
And I think we've done that a little bit, too.
Right. Yeah, Terry and I did talk about these and come up with numbers based on what we were doing this year, so.
Are we going to be charging
The
for
Elks had given
like
us
Tai
that
Chi
nice
this year?
gift for that.
Yeah, and they may not do that
I
again.
think we should charge for the series classes, because they're not just drop-in,
I'm sorry, what's that?
the series classes. 'cause
I
they're
asked
not
if we
just
were going to be
drop-in.
charging for Tai Chi or
I
not.
did.
Because we talked about maybe not, because we were going to offer it hybrid, and then how would we, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just wondered what we
At this
decided.
point, we're not doing hybrid.
Okay.
No, I mean, if you're making people pay, you shouldn't have it available hybrid, that's not,
Parking lot.
No, we were going to make it free.
okay, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, I think the budget committee and I think the Friends, president and
Didn't change it.
treasurer, what?
Okay.
Didn't
It's
change
still
it.
freezing, huh?
I'm so cool to
I think we should go through all these line by
Okay.
line. I think that,
Okay.
and then bring it back
Yeah.
as a whole.
Right.
Where we all,
Okay.
put in our ideas and thoughts, and Terry should join us too, because he's got the background from the last year, and we kind of go from there.
Okay.
Does that sound,
Yeah, so we want to do that over the next month,
Yeah.
so we have it before our next meeting.
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you look at your calendar?
Yep,
Yeah, send out some
And
dates
send us out
and-
some dates, so we
Okay.
can do it now, either way.
perfect. I could do it now, if you guys want.
Do you want to try and schedule a budget meeting now, where we go through all this stuff?
Okay.
You, by your bylaws, take effect on June 1, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you are part of this budgeting.
For this year.
It's
I wasn't
July 1, because it's fiscal year, but
Their
I,
bylaws.
their bylaws, is it
Our-
June 1?
Our
It is?
officer terms are a month different than the fiscal year.
We don't like that. We need to
Which
change
really
That's
is
interesting.
kind of odd,
Yeah, that is odd. Okay.
which will probably, we won't have to do about it.
Yes. Okay, perfect. All right, so, next week is not good for me. But the following week, June 3rd I'm looking at. Is there
June 3rd is
particular
fine with me.
days of the week that work best for you all?
Tuesday and Wednesday are my best days.
Okay.
No, are we talking the week of June 3rd?
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
like the 4th and 5th.
The 4th is good for me.
The 5th, we already have our COA Friends Board meeting. So
Yeah.
we could potentially roll right into our meeting after that.
I have an appointment in Hyannis at 2:30,
Okay, so
so I'm free until then.
does Wednesday work?
Is Jackie a yes or no for that day? Because that'll decide how long the meeting is.
I'm not 100% sure at this point.
I'm gonna say no. I talked to
Why
her
don't-
yesterday, it doesn't sound.
Okay, perfect. So why don't I just say that we're gonna I'll just confirm that we don't need her at this meeting, and then,
Great.
we'll let her know when we're on. Does
Should we
that
meet
sound
at
good?
11?
Yeah, so we'll
So what
wrap
day?
the Friends meeting at 11,
That
and
gets tight for Bev, right? If you
11 or
have to
12,
be-
12 to 1, so you could
Okay.
only do like a couple
2:30,
hours.
oh, this time of year, you need 45 minutes to an hour to get, so I'd have to leave at 1:30?
What time is your meeting?
9:30 to
Oh.
11, tops.
Is that-
Isn't that
Would it
optimistic?
end at 10:30?
Oh, you
No.
crazy dreamer.
No.
No.
Could it end
Been in
at
business a long
10:30?
time, an hour's enough.
You think we can finish by 10:30?
We would
Wrap
love
it by
to.
10:30?
And then we could go
And then
into
we can go
budget?
right into
We
budget?
would like to finish by in an hour, absolutely.
Well, we
10:30.
have to, because we're gonna have our next meeting, right?
Absolutely,
So-
10:30 it is. So-
Okay.
Good.
So when is
So
this
on the
again?
5th at 10:30?
June
I got
5th,
lost here.
Wednesday, June 5th at 10:30. Downstairs, is that where you meet?
Yeah.
On the 5th, aren't you having Scott talk about insurance?
No, I am not.
Okay, so 9:30 is the Friends meeting?
9:30 is Friends, 10:30 is budget.
I got it.
And that is just for, I think Bev's on it, Joan's on it,
Rich
and
is on
Rich
it,
is on
Paula,
it.
Paula
Is
was on
Paula-
budget.
Was
Are
I?
you on budget?
You met with the town, right?
Yeah, I was. I'll be happy to come if I'm around. I don't know if I am. Say the date. I'm sorry.
June 5th,
Terry.
10:30.
Mindy, Mary Jane, and Pat, are you able to? I just think it's important to have last year, this year, you know, kind of a ebbs and flows, if that works for everybody, or,
I'm sure Joanne will be there.
yeah. Okay,
This is June
so we'll do
5th.
that, meeting of the minds, and we'll.
The
kind of
COA
knock
meeting
it
is at
out.
9:30?
Correct.
Yes.
And it'll go right into the budget at 10:30.
Yep.
Great. Terrific.
Do we have anything?
Well, I gotta go to both of those, and it's important for the minutes.
It
Okay.
is important for the minutes, Rich. Okay.
So we'll go through what you've presented, and the only thing that would be interesting to do is to note anything that we overspent or underspent on this year.
Yeah.
Who's running the 10:30 meeting?
I'm sorry?
Just one person. You're running the 10:30 meeting?
I'm writing it?
Dorothy, no,
Right,
not
I'll
you.
run it.
Running it?
I'll
No,
run
no.
it.
Who's chairing? Who's chairing
I'll-
it? You doing it? Okay.
Not me.
That would be
Just one
Dorothy.
person to move it along.
I
Dorothy,
will move it along,
There you go.
it's your budget, yeah.
yeah.
Dorothy, we were talking about reimbursing some of the drivers, the transportation. That's not in here yet.
Yeah, we did talk about that, you're right.
And the light came on when we were talking earlier.
Yep, yep. Okay.
Okay, so that wraps up budget for now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other old business anyone wants to address? Any other new business anyone wants to put on the agenda for next month? Except we will be voting on officers. Public comment? Ladies? Friends comment? No? Who wants to motion to adjourn?
Motion that we adjourn.
And Bev seconds. Thank you
gonna
very
have to-
much.